"Oh, boys, shoot me again," by S.C. Turnbo. We have on a few occasions criticized the way some of the commanders of the Confederate Army had men shot for desertion. Now, the Civil War was between ourselves, and some believed one way and others saw different. Hundreds and thousands took their stand at the commencement of the war and remained true to their convictions. These men belonged to both sides, but there were others that fought in the Southern Army that did not desire to take any part in the Civil War and wanted to be with their families in order to give them protection as far as possible from the thieves and irregulars on both sides. But they were forced into the Army. But they, having no interest or love for war, would sometimes leave without permission and visit their families, and then they were arrested and brought back to camp, charged with the crime of desertion, court-martialed, and executed. Mr. Fee Snow, who was a Confederate soldier under the command of Captain Charles Newman, Company F, Fagan's 22nd Arkansas Regiment Infantry. Now, Colonel Fagan, he was promoted to Brigadier General, and he was succeeded in command of the regiment by Colonel Jim King. "One day," said Mr. Snow, "while we were in Camp Massard, just south of the Arkansas River from Van Buren, a bunch of our cavalry brought in two of our men into camp that had gone home without leave, and they were reported as deserters. Now they were put under strict guard, and word was sent to General T.C. Heineman. Now the two men were court-martialed and sentenced to be shot, and General Heineman approved it. The time of execution was set on the following day after they were condemned. The detail was drawn out to do the shooting, and I was compelled to be on that detail. Some time before the hour of that execution was to occur, the two unfortunate men were conducted under heavy guard to the northeast corner of the Massard Prairie, where a part of the army was assembled by the order of Heineman to witness the execution. Now, after the preliminaries had been completed, the two men were ordered to stand side by side, and their legs were pinioned together and their hands were tied behind their backs. Then they were blindfolded, and our detail, which was in the command of Captain Newman, who had volunteered to take charge of us, was ordered up, and the officer in the command of us lined us up in front of the doomed men, and the usual order, ready, aim, fire in such cases, was given to us. Now, at the report of the guns, one of the men fell back dead, and the other just dropped to the ground awfully wounded. His suffering was so great that he lay withering on the ground in agony and cried out in piteous tones, "Oh, boys, just shoot me again and end this torture. My suffering is unbearable." Now, Captain Newman ordered 6 of the men to reload their guns, and while this was going on, the captain ordered us to raise the man up and seat him up against a tree. And as soon as the men had finished reloading their guns, a second volley was fired into his chest, which killed him instantly. Fortunately for myself, I was not one of the 6 men that had to reload and shoot again, but I was one of them that was ordered to raise the man up and put him up against the tree, which I obeyed. But to my surprise and satisfaction, I discovered afterward that my gun failed to discharge its contents by snapping only. I had a great aversion in the wholesale shooting of men, and rejoiced to know that the bullet from my gun did not help murder these men. But I kept this to myself as long as I remained in the army.